That's you, Yosef. Okay. One last piece. And it goes like this. I want to talk about dreams. Right? We did Mashiach. We've got to do dreams, right? So there are 10 dreams in the Torah. Each of them is very, very, very important in order to help the Jewish people reach their end goal. Okay? So when we talk about dreams in the Torah, we're not talking about someone falling asleep and like recollecting, right, stuff they saw during the day, right, or they saw a movie, or they saw something, you know? Like I, for example, had a discussion with someone about dentistry. Someone I know needed a dentist, so I had a whole discussion with him, right? We know someone who needs some dental work, so we want to help. And that night, I thought about my friend, right, actually comes to synagogue, you know, Dr. Yoni Benaim, and I dreamt about him. And I called him the next day, I dreamt about you last night, but it doesn't mean anything because I was talking about dentistry all day. So that's not the dream we're talking about. When you see something during the day and you see it in your dream at nighttime, it's meaningless. It's meaningless. It's just your mind processing what you heard. These dreams are different. These are dreams that have a prophetic quality. And Avraham had such a dream. And Yaakov had the dream with the ladder. And now it goes from Yaakov to Yosef. Now it's Yosef's turn because he's going to continue. Right? We have to see his dreams. And he's a dreamer, no doubt about it. Okay? And he's going to be a dream interpreter as well. Right? His actual name is going to not change. He's given an additional name of Tzava Panecha, a dream interpreter. So what does he do? He sees two dreams. And there is a slight difference, not just obviously in terms of the context, what's happening in the dreams, but the implications of those two dreams. So the first dream involves him. I remember he's 17 years old, and his brothers are going to be infuriated with these dreams. We'll see why in a second. They're going to lead to a lot of negative things that are going to happen to him because of these dreams. But he has a dream that he sees a wheat, right, sheaves of wheat, and there's his one standing up, and all of his brothers are represented by sheaves of wheat, and those sheaves are going to bow down to his, which is a prophetic analogy which comes in a dream that is sometime in the future, you are going to bow down to me, I'm going to be your leader. I'm going to be your leader. By the way, how do you know the difference between a prophetic dream and just like a regular one? If the dream is very, very clear, say the Kabbalists, I read this recently, and it comes to you by day in a very clear, where did I read this? I think it's the Zohar, but I read it actually in a Chumash this past Shabbat. If your dream is extremely clear and it really like shakes you up when you wake up and you remember it vividly, and if it repeats itself, how much more so, then it has a prophetic quality. So he has a dream that he remembers. And he goes and he tells his brothers. Now there's two possibilities here. One is he's very, very naive, right? Telling his brothers this, that they are going to have to bow down to him, that he's going to lead them. And why are they bothered by this? Because he's the youngest. He's 17. He's still twirling his hair, putting on makeup, Rashi tells us. So they're like, whoa, you think you're going to lead over us? Whoa. We've seen this before. Really? Where? We saw that Yishmael caused trouble for Yitzchak. We saw that Esav causes trouble for our father. You're going to do the same thing. You're going to be the troublemaker. We're going to take you out. Literally, take you out. I'm talking like mafia style, take you out. Not out for dinner, Actually, they had dinner after they took him out. Okay, so we're going to see that they are threatened by this. So one answer is he was very, very naive. But there's another possibility, which is, why would he tell his brothers, knowing full well they were going to get very, very upset, assuming that he's not naive? And remember, Onkelos tells us that he was a bar hakim, he was a very smart kid. He was a genius, even at 17, even though he was taking care of his looks. So what exactly would he be doing telling them? So this, my dear friends, is what you need to know about dream interpretation. And that is, actually someone asked me this question recently. A dream that is not interpreted by another individual or read aloud from a book is like a letter that has remained sealed, that has not been opened and read. Meaning, if you want a dream to have any impact, positive or negative actually, it needs to be interpreted by someone else and spoken out. Because the dream follows its interpretation, which is why you should only get good interpretations of your dreams. Okay? This is important. So Yosef understood, I just had a massively important dream. But the dream is not going to happen, and I know it needs to happen, because I know I have a very important function in this world, which we spoke about already. He's going to become Mashiach ben Yosef. His descendant's going to have a very important role, right, in his lifetime and at the end of days. And he's going to become the leader of Egypt. And he's going to need all his brothers to bow down to him in order for him to fulfill his mission. So now Yosef says, well, if I want that to happen, I need to go and tell my brothers about it. I need them to hear it, accept it, interpret it, and then it's going to come into fruition. Because if they don't, it's like a letter that remains sealed, that no one's read, and therefore the message inside is meaningless. So that's the possibility that he's smarter than he seems and goes to them and tells them. And by the way, it happens again. It happens again that he sees that his family are all stars and they all bow down to him, and in that case he sees his parents bowing down to him as well. He sees them as well in that dream. And now the brothers are totally infuriated. Like the chutzpah to have one dream, but then he goes to sleep, has another dream, and he doesn't just see us bowing down, he now sees our father Yaakov. That's it. Yaakov had to deal with our father, he had to deal with Esav, he had to deal with Lavan, he had to deal with so much difficulty and challenge, and now he's going to deal with you as well. We're going to kill you. You now get the death penalty. But what's Yaakov's reaction? Amazing. People always miss this. In the Torah it tells us, Shamat Davrav, he guarded his words. He knew there was some truth to this, Yaakov. Actually, there was a lot of truth to this. And he said, I'm going to wait for this dream to happen. So he understood. Yaakov understood. And he interpreted it in a way as if to say, this guy's not a rebel. He's not a bad kid. This actually is going to happen. And we're going to see that everything that he saw in his dreams weren't just his power grab over his brothers and me. This actually is going to have a major role in the formation of the Jewish people as we know it, from this point right until the end of days when Mashiach comes. Because his descendant is going to be the one who fights my battles on my behalf and takes down Esav and Edom. I need him. That's why Yaakov doesn't get upset. He says, Shema Rav, I got it. I'll wait. I'll wait to see this because it can take a long time. And actually we learn how long a person should wait for a dream to occur, dream interpretation, a dream manifestation to occur. It takes 22 years. That's how long you can wait for a dream to happen. And it's learned out from this story. Because he had the dream at 17, and 22 years later he is how old? 39, and that's when the whole thing happened. So from the age of 17 to the age of 22 years, right? From 17 to 39, yeah, he's waiting and waiting. He's got to deal with Potiphar. He's got to deal with Egypt. He's got to deal with being in prison. Yaakov is mourning. Oh, it's a terrible time. But you can wait 22 years is the maximum amount of time that ever gets passed between the dream and its manifestation in this world. That, my friends, is the secret of Yosef, the secret of Yaakov, the secret of the dreams, and why he told it over to his brothers, and the secret of the end of days, when the final connection of Yehuda and Yosef will finally come together, right, with the defeat of our enemies and the rebuilding by Mashiach ben David, the real Mashiach as we call him, in Jerusalem, which is his territory, and Yosef is going to have to deal with his as well. Have a great night.